Have you ever felt like life's throwing everything at you? Struggles, doubts, and chaos, leaving you wondering if the good times will ever come? What if I told you those tough moments aren't the end, but the secret signals of something incredible about to unfold? Welcome to ZenLight 8, where we uncover the hidden signs your life is on the verge of a breakthrough. In this video, I'm revealing 7 powerful clues that your best days are closer than you think. Stick around, because you won't want to miss this. 1. You're feeling lost and confused. Have you ever woken up one day and felt like the world doesn't make sense anymore? Like you're standing in the middle of a storm, the wind howling around you, and you can't even tell which way is up? Maybe you're questioning everything. Your job, your relationships, the dreams you've held on to for years. You're asking yourself, am I even on the right path? Did I take a wrong turn somewhere? What am I even doing with my life? That overwhelming sense of being lost, that gut-wrenching confusion. It's heavy, isn't it? It's like the ground beneath your feet is shifting, crumbling, leaving you scrambling for something solid to hold on to. Most people would look at that and say, this is failure. This is proof I'm not good enough. But what if I told you that's dead wrong? What if I told you that this feeling, this dark, disorienting mess, isn't the end of your story, but the start of something extraordinary? Let's get real for a second. Life doesn't hand you a map with a big red X marking the spot where everything falls into place. No, it throws you into the deep end and says, figure it out. And when you're in that deep end, treading water, feeling like you're drowning in doubt, it's easy to think you're the only one struggling. You look around, and everyone else seems to have it together. Perfect jobs, perfect families, perfect Instagram feeds. Meanwhile, you're over here wondering why you can't even decide what to eat for dinner, let alone what to do with the next decade of your life. But here's the truth most people miss. That confusion, that sense of being lost, isn't a sign you're failing. It's a sign you're on the verge of transformation. It's the universe whispering, get ready, because something big is coming. Think about it. When do you feel lost the most? Is it when you're coasting through life, stuck in the same old routine, punching the clock, paying the bills, and binge-watching shows every night? No, that's not when the confusion hits. That's autopilot mode, safe, predictable, numb. You don't feel lost when you're just existing, because there's nothing pushing you to question anything. But when you're on the edge of something new, something bigger than you've ever known, that's when the ground starts shaking. That's when the questions start piling up. Who am I really? What do I want? Why does nothing feel right anymore? It's not comfortable. It's not pretty. But it's necessary. Because here's the kicker. You don't grow when you're comfortable. You don't evolve when everything's easy. You change when you're forced to look in the mirror and confront the fact that the life you've been living doesn't fit you anymore. Picture a butterfly inside its cocoon. Right now, you might feel like that butterfly, trapped, suffocating, surrounded by darkness. That little creature doesn't know what's happening. It's tight in there, cramped, no room to move. Every instinct is screaming, this is wrong. I can't breathe. And then the struggle kicks in, starts pushing, clawing, fighting against the walls of that cocoon, desperate to break free. If you were watching from the outside, you might think, poor thing, it's suffering. But here's what you'd miss. That struggle isn't pointless. It's not punishment. It's preparation. Every push, every tear, every ounce of effort is strengthening that butterfly's wings. Without that fight, it would never fly. If someone came along and cut the cocoon open to save it, that butterfly would crawl out weak, deformed, unable to soar. The struggle is what makes it ready for the sky. And right now, that's you. You're in the cocoon. You're pushing against the walls of your old life, and it feels like hell. But what if that hell is the very thing building your wings? Let's break this down. When you feel lost, it's not because you've failed. It's because you're outgrowing who you used to be. The old you, the one who was okay with playing it safe, settling for less, following the script society handed you, that version of you is fading away. And the new you, the one who's meant for something greater, that person hasn't fully stepped into the light yet. You're caught in between, and that in-between space is messy. It's disorienting. It's like standing in a hallway with the door behind you locked and the door in front of you still closed. You can't go back, but you can't see what's ahead either. So you panic. You think, I've messed up. I've lost my way. But what if you haven't lost your way at all? What if this is the way? What if this confusion is the process of shedding your old skin so you can step into the life you were always meant to live? I want you to think back to a time in your life when everything felt certain. Maybe it was a job you loved, a relationship that felt secure, a plan you had all mapped out. You knew where you were going and it felt good, stable, predictable. But then something shifted. Maybe the job stopped challenging you. Maybe the relationship started feeling like a cage. Maybe the plan fell apart. And suddenly you're here in this fog wondering how you went from clarity to chaos. Most people would say that's a step backward. They'd say, you had it all figured out. Why'd you let it slip away? But I'm here to tell you that's not what's happening. You didn't lose your clarity, you outgrew it. The life that used to make sense doesn't anymore because you're not the same person who fit into it. You're bigger now, even if you don't feel it yet. And that's why you're lost, because the map you've been using doesn't work for the territory you're about to enter. Here's where it gets exciting. That discomfort you're feeling, that restlessness, is not a curse. It's a gift. It's your soul telling you, hey, wake up. You're meant for more than this. Most people never feel that. They stay asleep, drifting through life, content with mediocrity because it's easier than facing the unknown. But not you. You're awake. You're unsettled. You're questioning everything because deep down, you know there's a bigger purpose waiting for you. And yeah, it's scary. It's terrifying to stand at the edge of that unknown and realize you don't have all the answers. But that fear, that's the fuel. That's what's going to push you through the cocoon and into the sky. So let's talk about what this looks like in real life. Maybe you're at a job that used to excite you, but now every day feels like a grind. You sit at your desk, staring at the clock, wondering, is this really it? Or maybe you're in a relationship that's lost its spark, and you're asking yourself, do I stay because it's safe, or do I leave because I deserve more? Maybe you had a dream, a big, wild dream, but somewhere along the way you started doubting it, and now you're not even sure if it's worth chasing. Whatever it is, that lost feeling creeps in, and it's relentless. It keeps you up at night, replaying every decision, every what if. But here's the thing, that's not a sign you're broken. It's a sign you're breaking through. Look at the people who've done something extraordinary with their lives. The inventors, the artists, the leaders, almost every single one of them had a moment where they felt completely lost. They hit a point where nothing made sense, where the old rules didn't apply anymore, and they had to figure out a new way forward. That's where the magic happens. That's where the transformation begins. Because when you're lost, you're forced to find yourself. You're forced to dig deep, to ask the hard questions, to strip away everything that's not real until you're left with the truth of who you are and what you're meant to do. And that truth is powerful. It's the foundation of everything great you're about to become. So if you're feeling lost right now, don't run from it. Don't numb it with distractions or pretend it's not there. Sit with it. Lean into it. Ask yourself, what's this trying to teach me? Where's this pushing me? Because I promise you, it's pushing you somewhere. This isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning. It's the part where the hero stumbles, falls, loses their way, only to rise up stronger than ever. You're not falling apart, you're falling into place. The confusion, the doubt, the chaos, it's all part of the process. It's the cocoon breaking open. And when it does, when you finally step out into the light, you'll look back and realize this was the moment everything changed. Here's the bottom line. Feeling lost doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're brave. It means you're willing to let go of what's safe to reach for what's real. Most people never get that far. They cling to the familiar, even when it's killing them inside. But you're different. You're fighting through the darkness because, deep down there's a light on the other side. So don't give up. Don't think this is where your story ends. This is where it starts. Your wings are forming. Your breakthrough is coming. And when it does, you'll see that every second of this struggle was worth it. Are you ready to fly? And there it is, the full picture laid out before you. Quantum entanglement weaving us into the universe's fabric, your subconscious ready to be rewired, and a trust that lights the way. This isn't just a theory or a feel-good story. It's your power, humming inside, waiting for you to flip the switch. The Quantum Thinking Challenge is your launch pad, 21 days to tune that signal. But the real magic? It's what you do next. You're not a bystander in this cosmic dance. You're the dancer, the creator, the spark. Understand it, apply it, live it, and that hidden energy explodes into a life that's yours, truly yours. The universe isn't out there. It's in you, through you, with you. So what's your move? Step into it right now and watch the world shift. To every one of you at ZenLight 8 who's made it to the end of this journey with me, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for sticking around, for opening your mind, for daring to see yourself as more than you've been told. You're not just viewers, you're explorers, seekers, game changers. It means everything to share this with you, to know you're out there, ready to awaken what's been waiting inside. If this sparks something in you, drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts, your dreams, your next step. Subscribe if you haven't, hit that bell, and let's keep this fire going together. You're the heartbeat of ZenLight 8, and I'm so grateful for every single one of you. Here's to your awakening. Let's light up the universe, one vibe at a time. 2. You're losing people who were once close to you. Have you ever looked around and realized that the people who used to be your everything, your ride-or-die friends, your confidants, the ones who knew every detail of your life, aren't there anymore? Maybe it didn't happen all at once. Maybe it was a slow drift, a missed call here, a canceled plan there, until one day you wake up and it hits you. The connection's gone. Conversations that used to light up your world now feel like pulling teeth. The laughter's faded. The support you once leaned on has turned into silence, or worse, resentment. And if you're honest, it hurts. It stings deep in your chest, like a piece of you has been ripped away. You start asking yourself, what did I do wrong? Why don't they get me anymore? Am I the problem? But what if I told you this isn't a loss at all? What if I told you this is one of the clearest signs that your life is about to shift into something bigger, something better? Let's step back and look at this for a second. When you're growing, when you're really evolving into the person you're meant to be, not everyone's going to keep up. It's not because they're bad people or because you're better than them. It's just the way life works. Think about a tree in the forest. As it grows taller, reaching for the sun, some branches don't make it to the top. They fall off not because they're weak, but because the tree doesn't need them anymore to keep climbing. That's you right now. You're stretching towards something higher, and some of the people you've carried with you, people who've been with you through thick and thin, aren't meant to go where you're headed. It's not a punishment. It's not a tragedy. It's alignment. Here's the hard truth. Not everyone's meant to stay in your story forever. Some people come into your life for a season, a chapter, a moment. They're there to teach you something, maybe how to love, how to trust, how to stand up for yourself. They play their role, and it's beautiful while it lasts. But when you start changing, when you start seeing the world differently, chasing dreams they can't understand, or healing parts of yourself they never knew were broken, the dynamic shifts. You're not the same person they signed up to know. And that's okay. It doesn't mean they're wrong or you're wrong. It just means their part in your journey is done. Imagine you're climbing a mountain. At the base, you've got a whole crew with you. Friends, family, people cheering you on. But as you climb higher, the air gets thinner, the path gets steeper, and not everyone's built for that altitude. Some turn back. Some sit down and say, "This is far enough for me." And you? You keep going because something inside you won't let you stop. That's when the distance starts creeping in. You look down and realize they're not behind you anymore, and it feels lonely as hell. You might even be tempted to run back down, to beg them to come with you, to hold on to what you had. But here's where most people mess up. They cling to the past instead of trusting the climb. They try to drag people along who've already decided they're not built for the peak. And in doing that, they stall their own ascent. Let me paint you a picture. Maybe you've got a friend you've known since you were kids. Back then, you were inseparable, same dreams, same struggles, same late-night talks about how you'd take on the world. But now, you're pushing yourself, chasing goals, taking risks, while they're still in the same spot, complaining about the same things, unwilling to move. You try to share your excitement, your vision, but they brush it off. That's too risky, they say. Why can't you just be happy with what you've got? Or maybe it's a family member who used to be your rock, but now every time you talk, it's like they're judging you for wanting more. They don't say it outright, but you feel it, the tension, the disconnect. And it cuts deep because these were your people. But what if losing them isn't a curse? What if it's the universe clearing the deck so you can sail into the next chapter unweighted? Here's the beauty of this. When people drift away, it's not an accident. It's a signal. It's life making room. You can't carry everyone into your future because not everyone's meant to fit there. Think of it like a rocket blasting off into space. At liftoff, it's got these massive boosters, powerful, heavy, essential to get it off the ground. But once it hits a certain altitude, those boosters fall away. They don't explode or fail, they just detach because their job is done. If they stayed attached, they drag the rocket down, keep it from hitting orbit. The people you're losing right now, they're your boosters. They got you here to this point, and you'll always carry the lessons they gave you. But to reach your full potential, you've got to let them go. Now, I know what you're thinking, but it's lonely. It hurts to lose people. And you're right, it does. There's nothing easy about watching someone you love fade from your life. You might feel guilty, like you're abandoning them, or scared that no one else will fill that space. But here's the promise. When the wrong people leave, the right ones show up. When you stop pouring energy into relationships that no longer serve you, you open the door for connections that do. The universe doesn't leave you empty-handed. It's just rearranging the pieces. And when those new people walk in, the ones who see your vision, who push you higher, who fit the person you're becoming, you'll look back and realize this wasn't a loss. It was a trade-up. So if you're feeling that sting right now, if you're watching friendships fade or family ties fray, don't panic. Don't chase what's already gone. Trust the process. This isn't about you being unlovable or unworthy. It's about you being unstoppable. The people who can't handle your growth aren't meant to witness your greatness. Let them go with gratitude, not bitterness. Because on the other side of this loneliness is a tribe that's waiting to meet the real you, the you that's emerging right now. Are you ready to make space for them? 3. Unexpected opportunities are showing up. Have you ever been stuck in a rut so long you forgot what hope feels like? Maybe you've been grinding through life, hitting wall after wall, rejections, setbacks, closed doors, until you're just about ready to throw in the towel. You're tired, beat down, thinking, maybe this is as good as it gets. But then, out of nowhere, something shifts. A random email lands in your inbox with a job offer you didn't even apply for. A stranger strikes up a conversation that sparks an idea you can't shake. A small financial break comes through just when you thought you'd hit rock bottom. It's not a golden ticket. It's not the big win you've been dreaming of, but it's something. A crack of light in the darkness. And you're wondering, is this real? Is this a fluke? Let me tell you right now, it's not a fluke. It's a sign. Those unexpected opportunities, they're the universe dropping breadcrumbs, telling you your breakthrough is closer than you think. Let's set the scene. Life's been rough lately, maybe for months, maybe for years. You've been pouring your heart into something. A dream, a goal, a way out, and it feels like nothing's working. Doors keep slamming shut. People keep saying no. Money's tight, time's running out, and you're starting to wonder if you're chasing a ghost. You've almost given up, resigned yourself to the grind when bam, something pops up. It's small, maybe even easy to overlook. A friend mentions a side gig that could use your skills. You stumble across an article that flips a switch in your brain. A chance encounter leads to a connection you didn't see coming. It doesn't look like much at first, and most people would shrug it off. It's not what I wanted. It's not big enough. But here's the secret they don't tell you. Big breakthroughs don't start with fanfare and fireworks. They start with whispers, hints, tiny openings you've got to be brave enough to step through. Think about how the world works. The universe doesn't roll out a red carpet and say, here's your success, all wrapped up with a bow. No, it tests you first, puts you through the ringer, strips you down, makes you question everything because it wants to see if you're ready. And then, when you've been stretched to your limit, it starts dropping clues. Little stepping stones disguised as coincidences. The problem is, most people miss them. They're so busy waiting for the perfect moment, the golden opportunity, that they ignore the small stuff. But here's the truth. Those small moments are the opportunity. They're the spark, the match that lights the fire. And if you don't strike it, you'll never see the blaze. Let's talk real life. Maybe you've been job hunting for months, sending out resumes, getting nothing but silence. You're exhausted, ready to settle for anything. When out of the blue, someone you met ages ago texts you about an opening at their company. It's not your dream job, it's entry-level. Pays less than you'd hoped, but it's a foot in the door. Or maybe you've been stuck in a creative slump, staring at a blank page, when you overhear a conversation at a coffee shop that gives you an idea you can't let go of. It's not a bestseller yet. It's just a seed, but it's something. These aren't accidents. They're signals. The universe is saying, hey, I haven't forgotten you. Here's your chance. Take it. Look at the stories of people who've made it big. How many of them started with a random break? A chance meeting, a small gig, a lucky moment that didn't look like much at the time? Steve Jobs didn't wake up one day with Apple fully formed. He stumbled into a calligraphy class that years later shaped the design of the Mac. Oprah didn't go straight to TV stardom. She got her start with a small radio job that came out of nowhere. These weren't grand entrances, they were tiny doors. And the difference between them and everyone else? They walked through. They didn't wait for the perfect opportunity. They took the imperfect one and made it theirs. Here's where you come in. If you're noticing these unexpected chances popping up, a lead, an offer, a hunch, don't sleep on them. Don't sit there overanalyzing, waiting for a neon sign that says, this is it, because the universe doesn't work that way. It gives you the raw materials and says, build something. That random job offer? It might not be the end game, but it could connect you to the person who changes everything. That idea buzzing in your head? It might not be fully formed, but it could be the start of a project that defines your life. The trick is, you've got to act. You've got to trust that these little openings are leading you somewhere bigger, even if you can't see the whole picture yet. I get it. After so much struggle, it's hard to believe in anything good. You're scarred from the no's, the failures, the almosts. You're scared to hope, scared to move, because what if it's another dead end? But what if it's not? What if this is the turning point? Imagine you're panning for gold. You've been sifting through dirt for hours, days, weeks. Nothing but mud and rocks. And then, just when you're about to quit, you spot a glint. It's small, barely visible, but it's there. Do you walk away because it's not a nugget yet? Or do you keep digging, trusting it's a sign of more to come? That's where you are right now. These opportunities are your glint. They're proof the gold's close, you just have to keep going. So if you're seeing these cracks of light, small chances, unexpected twists, don't hesitate. Don't dismiss them because they don't match the dream you've built in your head. Take them, explore them, run with them, because when the doors start opening, even just a little, it's a sign the floodgates are about to burst. Your breakthrough's not far off. It's right around the corner. Are you ready to step through? For you feel the need to change something. Have you ever had one of those mornings where you wake up, look around, and think, this isn't it? Maybe you're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, and there's this restless itch deep inside you. A feeling you can't shake. Your routine, the one that used to feel like a cozy blanket, now feels like a straitjacket. The job you once fought for? It's a grind that drains you dry. The people you surround yourself with? They don't spark anything in you anymore. Even the little things, your daily coffee, the route you take to work, the way you spend your nights, feel off, like they belong to someone else's life. You can't put your finger on it, but you know something's gotta give. You're craving change, not just in a casual, maybe I'll switch things up way, but in a bone-deep, soul-shaking way. And here's the thing most people won't tell you. That craving is not random. It's not weakness. It's your spirit screaming that you're ready for something bigger, something truer, something more. Let's dig into this. Life has a funny way of sneaking up on you. One day you're cruising along, happy with the status quo. Good job, solid friends, a plan you can live with. It's not perfect, but it's fine. You tell yourself, this is enough. You've got your comfort zone locked down, and it feels safe, predictable, like a pair of old sneakers that fit just right. But then, out of nowhere, those sneakers start pinching. Every step gets tighter, more uncomfortable until you can't ignore it anymore. That's what's happening to you now. The life you've built, the one you used to love or at least tolerate, doesn't fit anymore. And it's not because you're ungrateful or because you've failed. It's because you've outgrown it. You're not the same person who slipped into those shoes years ago, and deep down, you know it. Picture this. You're walking through your day, and everything feels heavy. You sit at your desk, staring at a screen, and instead of focus, all you feel is exhaustion. You're not tired from the work itself. You're tired of pretending it matters to you. Or maybe you're with friends, laughing at the same old jokes, but inside you're miles away, wondering why you don't feel connected anymore. You might even catch yourself daydreaming about a different life. A new city, a new career, a new version of you. It's not just a passing thought. It's a pull, a magnetic force tugging at your core. Most people would brush that off. They'd say, I've got it good. I shouldn't complain. This is just a phase. But here's the truth. It's not a phase. It's a wake-up call. That restless energy isn't here to annoy you. It's here to save you. Think of it like a snake shedding its skin. That old layer, the one it's carried for months, starts getting tight, itchy, restrictive. The snake doesn't sit there thinking, oh, I should be grateful for this skin. It's gotten me this far. No, it knows instinctively that it's time to let it go. It wriggles out, leaves it behind, and emerges fresh, bigger, ready for the next stretch of its journey. That's you right now. Your soul's outgrown your current reality, and it's itching to break free. The job that used to define you is too small now. The routines that kept you steady, they're holding you back. The relationships that felt like home, they're not where your heart lives anymore. And yeah, that's scary, terrifying, even because change means stepping into the unknown. But it's also exciting because it means you're on the verge of a new beginning. Here's where most people trip up. They ignore that itch. They shove it down, drown it out with noise, TV, social media, busy schedules, because change feels risky. They convince themselves, better the devil I know than the one I don't. But the longer you ignore it, the worse it gets. That job you hate, it doesn't just stay boring. It starts eating away at your energy, your joy, your sense of self. Those relationships you're clinging to, they don't just feel distant. They turn toxic, draining you dry. Your soul's telling you it's time to move, but if you keep standing still, the discomfort doesn't go away, it grows. It's like wearing those tight shoes day after day. You can force your feet in, but eventually, the blisters start forming. And trust me, you don't want to wait until you're limping through life to make a move. Now, let's flip this. What if that need to change isn't a burden? What if it's a gift? What if it's your intuition, your higher self, nudging you toward the life you're truly meant to live? Imagine you're standing at a crossroads. Behind you is the path you've walked. Familiar, worn, safe. Ahead, it's foggy, uncharted, full of shadows. Most people would turn back, stick to what they know. But you're feeling that pull forward. You're not content to just exist anymore, you want to live. And that desire, that hunger for something more, is the universe saying, hey, I've got plans for you. Big plans. But you've got to take the first step. So what does this look like in real time? Maybe you're stuck in a 9-to-5 that pays the bills but leaves you hollow. You've been telling yourself, it's fine, it's stable. But lately, you can't stop thinking about quitting, starting over, chasing that passion you buried years ago. Or maybe it's your circle. Friends who used to lift you up now drag you down with negativity, and you're itching to break free, find people who inspire you. Maybe it's even simpler. You're tired of scrolling through your phone every night, numbing out, and you want to pick up a book, learn a skill, do something that makes you feel alive. Whatever it is, that urge isn't random. It's your future knocking, telling you it's time to open the door. Here's the promise. When you listen to that call, when you honor that need to change, everything starts falling into place. It won't be instant. Change never is, but it'll be real. You'll feel the weight lift, the fog clear, and suddenly you're not just surviving, you're thriving. So if you're restless right now, if you're craving something different, don't silence it. Lean into it. Ask yourself, what's not working? What do I really want? Because the moment you start moving toward that answer, you'll realize this wasn't just a feeling. It was your destiny calling. Are you ready to answer? 5. You're more focused on self-improvement. Have you ever caught yourself in the middle of a moment and thought, I want to be better? Not just a little better, like getting a raise or losing 5 pounds, but better in a way that shakes you to your core. Maybe you're flipping through a book you'd never have touched a year ago, soaking up every word like it's water in a desert. Or you're watching videos, motivational talks, life lessons, stories of people who've climbed out of the dark, and you're hooked, hanging on every syllable. You're questioning habits you used to shrug off, late nights, junk food, procrastination, and replacing them with routines that feel foreign but right. It's not a phase, not a New Year's resolution you'll ditch by February. It's a fire inside you, an unstoppable drive to grow, to sharpen yourself, to become more than you were yesterday. And here's the kicker. That fire isn't random. It's a sign, a neon flashing, heart-pounding sign that something massive is about to shift in your life. Let's rewind for a second. Most people don't wake up one day and decide, you know what? I'm going to overhaul my entire existence for no reason. That's not how it works. You don't suddenly crave knowledge, discipline, or growth unless something's brewing beneath the surface. Think about it. You wouldn't train for a marathon if you didn't have a race coming up. You wouldn't study for a test you weren't about to take. So why are you hungry to improve yourself right now? Because your subconscious knows something your conscious mind hasn't caught up to yet. It's like your soul's got a sneak peek at the script, and it's whispering, get ready, because the next act is going to demand a stronger you. Picture this, you're sitting on your couch, scrolling through your phone like always, when something clicks. Maybe it's a quote you stumble across. The best way to predict your future is to create it, and it hits you like a freight train. You put the phone down, grab a notebook, and start writing down goals you haven't thought about since you were a kid. Or maybe you're at the gym, not just going through the motions, but pushing yourself harder, feeling every rep like it's building more than muscle, it's building character. You're drawn to stories of people who've overcome the impossible. And instead of just nodding along, you're thinking, that could be me. This isn't a hobby. It's a mission. And it's coming from a place you didn't even know was awake. Here's what's happening. Your mind's shifting gears. The old you, the one who was okay coasting, settling, letting life happen, is fading. And the new you, the one who's emerging right now, that person's got bigger plans, bigger dreams, bigger battles to fight. You're not improving yourself just to feel good, though that's part of it. You're doing it because you're being prepped for the next level. It's like you're an athlete in training camp, sharpening your skills, building your stamina, because the championship's coming, and you don't even know the date yet. But your spirit does. It's getting you ready to step into opportunities, face challenges, and claim victories you can't even see yet. Let's get real. Maybe you've started waking up early, not because you have to, but because you want to. You're reading books on leadership, creativity, resilience, underlining passages like they're clues to your future. You're cutting out distractions. Less TV, less gossip, less noise, and filling that space with things that stretch you. Podcasts, workouts, quiet moments where you just think. You're looking at your flaws, not with shame, but with curiosity, asking, how do I fix this? How do I get stronger? Most people don't do that. They drift through life, avoiding the mirror, content with who they are because it's easier than growing. But you're different. You're hungry, and that hunger's a signal that your breakthrough's on its way. Think about the greats, anyone who's left a mark on this world. They didn't stumble into success by accident. They built themselves for it. They studied, they practiced, they pushed past their limits, long before the spotlight found them. You're in that phase right now, the preparation phase. The struggles you've been through, the lessons you've learned, they weren't for nothing. They were the warm-up. And this sudden drive to level up, it's the final stretch of training. Your future self, the one who's going to crush it, who's going to live the life you've dreamed of, needs you to be sharper, tougher, wiser. And right now, you're forging that version of you. Here's the catch. This isn't random. It's not a coincidence that you're obsessed with growth when yesterday you couldn't care less. It's alignment. Your mind, your body, your spirit. They're syncing up for what's next. Maybe it's a new career that'll demand every ounce of your grit. Maybe it's a relationship that'll need your best self. Maybe it's a purpose so big it'll redefine who you are. Whatever it is, it's coming, and you're getting ready to meet it head-on. So if you're feeling this urge, if you're pushing yourself harder, learning faster, dreaming bigger, don't stop. Embrace it. This is your transformation in motion. Your next chapter's calling, and you're answering with every step you take. Are you ready to become who you're meant to be? 6. Setbacks are piling up. Have you ever felt like life's got a personal vendetta against you? Like every time you take a step forward, something or everything knocks you back? Maybe you fix one problem, a flat tire, a late bill, a fight with someone you love, only to turn around and find 2 more waiting in the wings. It's relentless. One day it's your bank account dipping into the red. The next it's a rejection letter from a job you swore you'd nailed. You try to keep your head up, but the hits just keep coming. Car breaks down, plans fall through, people let you down. It's like you're stuck in a storm that won't let up, waves crashing over you. And you're gasping for air, wondering, why me? What did I do to deserve this? Am I even on the right path? Most people would look at that mess and call it defeat. They'd say, this is proof I'm done. But what if I told you that's the furthest thing from the truth? What if I told you these setbacks aren't the end? They're the launch pad for something unstoppable. Let's break this down. Life doesn't play fair, it never has. It doesn't hand you a trophy just because you showed up. Instead, it throws curveballs, roadblocks, brick walls, testing you to see what you're made of. And right now, it feels like you're in the thick of it. You're dodging punches, scrambling to stay upright, and it's exhausting. You might be thinking, I can't catch a break. Every time I get close, something rips it away. It's frustrating as hell. And it'd be easy to throw your hands up and say, I'm out. But here's the twist most people miss. When the setbacks start piling up, when it feels like the universe is stacking the deck against you, that's not a sign you're failing. It's a sign you're being forged. It's the final test before the breakthrough. Think of an archer pulling back a bowstring. The farther that string gets pulled, the tighter it feels, the more tension builds. If you're the arrow, you're sitting there, locked in place, feeling the strain, wondering, how much more can I take? But that tension isn't there to break you. It's there to launch number of words generated. 1549U. The harder the pull, the stronger the release. Right now, every setback, every delay, every no is pulling that string back further, loading you with energy, momentum, power you didn't even know you had. And when it finally lets go, you're not just going to move, you're going to soar. Those obstacles aren't stopping you. They're charging you up for the flight. Let's paint a picture. Maybe you've been chasing a dream, a business, a promotion, a fresh start, and it's been one disaster after another. You save up money, then an emergency wipes it out. You pitch an idea and it gets shot down. You put yourself out there and the door slams shut. It's like life's daring you to quit, taunting you with every stumble. You're bruised, tired, questioning if it's worth it. But here's what you don't see. Every no is sharpening you. Every fall is building your resilience. Every closed door is teaching you how to kick the next one down. This isn't punishment, it's preparation. The universe isn't trying to bury you. It's toughening you up for what's coming. Because what's coming is bigger than anything you've faced so far. Look at anyone who's made it through the fire. The people who've built empires, changed the world, overcome the impossible. None of them had it easy. They all had a stretch where life hit them hard, where the setbacks came fast and furious. Think about someone like Thomas Edison, failed 1,000 times before the light bulb worked. Or J.K. Rowling, rejected by publisher after publisher, broke and desperate, before Harry Potter took off. That storm of struggle wasn't the end of their story. It was the turning point. It's where they found the grit, the guts, the fire to keep going. And right now, that's you. You're in the crucible, the heat's cranking up, and it's forging you into someone who can handle the weight of what's next. Here's where it gets real. Those setbacks aren't random. They're not bad luck or a cosmic joke. They're the final filter, sifting out the ones who'll give up from the ones who'll rise. Life's asking you, how bad do you want it? Are you tough enough to take the hits and keep standing? And every time you get back up, every time you fix the tire, pay the bill, dust yourself off after the rejection, you're answering, yes. You're proving you're ready. Most people don't make it through this phase. They crumble, they settle, they walk away. But you're still here. You're still fighting. And that's why the breakthrough's coming, because you've earned it. So if you're drowning in setbacks right now, if it feels like everything's going wrong, don't lose hope. Don't think this is where your story ends. It's not the finale, it's the pivot. Imagine you're in a movie, and this is the part where the hero's down, bloodied, cornered, and the music's swelling because everyone knows what's next. The comeback. That's you. The string's pulled back as far as it'll go, and the release is seconds away. Hold on. Keep pushing. Because when this storm clears, and it will, you're not just going to walk out of it. You're going to fly. Are you ready to let that arrow loose? 7. You feel a deep sense of peace despite the chaos. Have you ever been in the middle of a mess? Total chaos swirling around you, and yet, somehow you're okay? Maybe your world's falling apart on the outside, bills stacking up, relationships fraying, deadlines looming like storm clouds, but inside, there's this strange, unshakable calm. It's not denial. It's not you pretending everything's fine. It's deeper than that. A quiet, steady feeling that cuts through the noise, whispering, it's going to be all right. You can't explain it, can't logic your way through it, but it's there holding you together when everything else is breaking. Most people would call that crazy. They'd say, how can you be calm when it's all hitting the fan? But what if I told you that peace isn't an illusion? What if I told you it's the loudest, strongest sign that something incredible is about to happen? Let's set the stage. Life's a hurricane right now. You're juggling a dozen problems. Money's tight, your boss is breathing down your neck. Someone you trusted just walked out the door. The phone's ringing with bad news. The inbox is overflowing. And you can't remember the last time you slept through the night. By all accounts, you should be a wreck, pacing, panicking, crumbling under the weight. But you're not. Sure, you feel the stress, the frustration, the sting of it all, but underneath that, there's this stillness, this confidence you can't shake. It's like you're standing in the eye of the storm. Winds raging, debris flying, chaos everywhere. But right where you are, it's quiet, still, peaceful. And that, my friend, is no accident. That's your soul telling you the truth before your eyes can see it. Think about it. When do most people feel peace? When everything's perfect, bills paid, sun shining, no worries in sight. That's the easy kind, the surface kind. But the peace you're feeling now, it's different. It's not tied to what's happening around you. It's coming from within you. It's like a compass in your chest, pointing north when the map's torn to shreds. You might not know how you're going to get out of this mess, might not have a plan or a lifeline, but deep down, you know you will. That's not ordinary. That's extraordinary. That's your spirit sensing the finish line before your mind can catch up. Let's get personal. Maybe you're staring at a bank account that's running on fumes, and the rent's due tomorrow. The old you would have been spiraling, tearing your hair out, calling it quits. But now, you take a breath, and something inside says, you've got this. Or maybe a relationship just blew up. Someone you loved walked away. And yeah, it hurts, but there's this quiet strength holding you steady, whispering, this isn't the end. It's a new start. The world's screaming chaos, but you're hearing calm. That's not denial, that's power. That's your soul recognizing that all this madness isn't here to destroy you. It's here to deliver you. Here's the magic of this. That piece is a preview. It's like getting a trailer for a movie before it hits theaters. Your spirit's already seen the ending. It knows the plot twist, the triumph, the moment where it all makes sense. And while your head's still caught up in the storm, your heart's already celebrating the clear skies ahead. Think about the people you've seen who've been through hell and come out shining. The ones who've lost everything, jobs, homes, loved ones, and yet carry themselves with this quiet grace. They're not broken. They're not bitter. They've got that same peace you're feeling now because they've learned what you're learning. The chaos isn't the story, it's the setup. Imagine you're on a battlefield. The fight's brutal, smoke, noise, enemies closing in. You're outnumbered, outgunned, and by all logic, you should be terrified. But instead, you feel the stillness, the certainty that the tide's about to turn. That's not blind hope, that's instinct. That's your inner warrior knowing the victory's already yours, even if the smoke hasn't cleared. Right now, life's your battlefield. The setbacks, the losses, the noise, they're the smoke and the gunfire. But that peace, it's your signal that the war's almost won. The struggle's not here to bury you. It's here to clear the path. Here's where most people miss it. They think peace comes after the storm. They wait for the problems to vanish, the bank account to fill, the relationships to heal, before they let themselves breathe. But the ones who rise, the ones who step into their greatness, they feel it during the storm. They don't need the chaos to stop to know they're okay. And that's you right now. You're not waiting for permission to feel strong. You just are. That's the ultimate sign. When you can stand in the middle of the mess and feel that calm, it means your breakthrough's not just close, it's imminent. It means everything that's falling apart is falling into place. So if you're feeling this peace, if you're staring down the barrel of chaos and still finding stillness inside, trust it. Lean into it. It's not a trick or a fluke. It's a promise. Your soul's already crossed the finish line, and it's calling you forward. The storm's not here to break you. It's here to birth you. On the other side of this madness, your good times are waiting, polished and ready. You're not just surviving this, you're stepping into it. Are you ready to claim what's yours? So there you have it. 7 powerful signs that your life is about to take a turn for the better. Feeling lost and confused? It's your cocoon breaking open. Losing people you thought would stay forever? It's the universe clearing space for your next chapter. Unexpected opportunities popping up? They're the stepping stones to your breakthrough. That itch to change something? It's your soul outgrowing the old you. A sudden hunger for self-improvement? It's your mind gearing up for the next level. Setbacks piling high? They're the tension loading your bowstring. And that unshakable peace in the chaos? It's your spirit shouting that the finish line's in sight. These aren't just random moments. They're signals, whispers from the universe telling you to hold on, because your best days are right around the corner. Take a second and think. Have you felt any of these lately? Maybe one, maybe all 7. If you have, don't brush it off. Trust it. You're not stuck, you're in motion. You're not breaking, you're building. Every struggle, every doubt, every quiet victory is part of the process, shaping you into the person who's ready to step into the life you've always dreamed of. This isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of the good part. The part where the hero rises, the arrow flies, the storm clears, and everything falls into place. So keep going. Keep believing. Your breakthrough's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And that when is closer than you think. Now, before I let you go, I want to say something from the bottom of my heart. To every single one of you watching this on ZenLight 8, thank you. Thank you for sticking with me through this journey, for giving me your time, your attention, your energy. It means the world to me that you've watched all the way to the end, that you're here, ready to take these signs and run with them. You're the heartbeat of this channel, the reason I pour my soul into these videos. So if this hit home for you, drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and let me know in the comments. Which of these signs are you seeing in your life right now? I can't wait to hear your stories. Stay strong, stay focused, and keep shining. ZenLight 8 family. Your best days are coming. I'll see you in the next one.